Hi, we're continuing the Peace Journey September 15th with the Bethany United Church of Christ congregation on this beautiful Seattle morning. And I'd like to introduce you to our next interview. Could you please tell us your name?
Allison Cardinal.
Good to meet you, Allison. And we're going to ask Allison the same thing that we've been asking as we travel across Washington State on this Peace Journey. Why the death penalty? Why should we or shouldn't we have it? Why do we have the death penalty?
I think we have the death penalty because people think that it brings justice to kill someone, but really it doesn't bring justice. It just perpetuates injustice because our justice system is broken. A lot of people are on death row that are innocent, and even if they're not innocent, it's an inhumane thing to do.
So what do you think we would lose if we ended the death penalty?
I don't think we would lose anything. I think we would gain peace. You know.
So you're not for violence to curtail violence?
No, I mean, that's eye for an eye. So I don't think it brings any justice to kill someone.
And did you know before we came here today that we had a death penalty in Washington State?
I didn't. You know, you usually hear about Texas or those other places where you have a high enrollment of the death penalty. And I think thinking about Washington as such a progressive state, fighting for minimum wage and gay rights, that this has been really overlooked as an issue in Washington. And we need to bring that to the forefront of our agenda.
Yeah, we are a pretty good human rights state, and this definitely is a human rights issue, life or death, don't you think?
Absolutely, yeah.
So you didn't know we had the death penalty, and do you know now how many men are on death row?
No, I think you said, did you say 8? 8. Okay, a good memory, but only because you told me.
And so then you hadn't heard when we had our last execution. It wasn't publicized, and you didn't hear about it?
I wasn't living in Washington at the time, so.
Okay. So how long have you been in Washington?
3 years.
Okay. Just about then, September of 2010. Is when we had our last execution. What did you think about when we shared the 2 types of execution procedures that we do have here in Washington State?
I was horrified that someone could be hung in this state. That is just disgusting to me. It sounds medieval, that it would happen in the 90s, that you would treat somebody that way. I mean, just barbaric, really.
Have you ever seen a documentary or a reenactment of how lethal injection is enacted?
I haven't. I mean, I know that they give you something first that's supposed to kind of put you to sleep and then give the lethal injection. Is that correct?
No, not really. But have you seen the movie Dead Man Walking? Even though it's very old, it's extremely accurate and covers all the aspects and reasons for not having the death penalty other than innocence. And I would recommend that highly. It's amazing, and the book, of course, is even better. But what do you think about risking the lives of the innocent to death rows?
I think it's wrong. You can't say that you want justice for people who've had their families murdered if the system itself is leading to so much injustice for the people in prison. So when you have a disproportionate amount of minorities and poor people on death row, and the only reason why they're there, many of them, even having the death penalty, is because of not having enough money for really good representation, or that public defenders are overworked. So this is just... you're on death row because you don't have enough money, basically, for representation. It's just unfair.
So would you be willing to let your legislators know that you want, or you think it might be a good idea to let your legislators know that you would like the death penalty to be ended in Washington State?
Yes, absolutely. This, to me, is a no-brainer. I mean, it's even from the cold fiscal perspective, it makes sense. So there's no logical reason to keep it.
Well, I appreciate your time, Allison. Thank you so much, and we'll say goodbye for now.